Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Blake Inscore, Crescent City Mayor, and thank you for joining us this afternoon as we give you some updates about what is going on in regards to the coronavirus, COVID-19, here in our community. And so we have some different individuals who are going to come and share from their perspective. Dr. Ray Walt's going to give an update from a public health standpoint, also get some updates from city and county staff as well as law enforcement. So without any further delay, I'm going to go ahead and ask Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Jerry Hemington, to come and give a brief update from the county's perspective.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Jerry Hemington, Chairman of the Del Norte County Board of Supervisors. Today I want to give you a brief update as to what's going on, the most recent actions that the Senate has been taking with regards to the relief funding for the COVID-19 emergency. The Senate is currently in negotiations on an economic stimulus package to provide relief to state and local governments. The bill would address key needs of the communities across the United States and will be vitally important for the economic well-being of so many. The proposed $1.8 trillion bill is expected to fund the rescue of eligible businesses, dollars to immediately assist affected individuals, money to retain workers, including payroll loans and funding for hospitals, unemployment insurance, and the aviation industry. It is still to be seen what all will be included in the stimulus bill, and we will report out additional information as it becomes available. I want to assure you that the government, state and federal, are going to do everything that they can do to the best of their ability to make sure that the economy and people are going to be taken care of. We need to do our part. We need to continue social distancing, washing your hands, do all the things, self-quarantine, do everything that you can do to help the cause. Please be part of the solution. This is a very serious pandemic, and we all need to do our part to make this as minimal as we can, even though it's gone beyond that already. Next, Dr. Ray Walt is going to give an update, so I'll have him come up and thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm Dr. Warren Ray Walt. I'm the health officer for Del Norte County. We released another bulletin, another public service announcement today, and if you're interested in a complete update, it's pretty much in that text. I mentioned a couple of things that I wanted to reiterate here. With the lockdown in place, the shelter-in-place order from the governor, we've kind of created the safest environment that we can through public health measures. This community mitigation strategy is very important for people to abide by because it's the best defense. It's really the only defense against this virus right now. And we are very hopeful that by doing this and by continuing to do it, we'll create the environment to, when this virus arrives, that it will not be able to spread very easily. And if it does spread, it'll spread very slowly and in a way that we can manage. That's the key thing. That's the take-home message here, is that we want to slow this virus down to an absolute crawl. We have no reason to believe that it will not arrive. We don't have proof that it's here. It may already be creeping into the community even as I speak. But we are aware of cases in the surrounding counties that have shown up in the last week. So we have to presume that it will get here if it's not here already. So people need to be mindful of that. They need to take these precautions seriously, do everything they can to distance themselves, stay home when they're sick. If you're elderly or at risk, otherwise stay home when you're well. Stay away from people who might carry a virus that you could get. And everybody should just sort of assume that they're sick and everyone else is sick around them and kind of behave that way, because that's the best way to prevent this transmission. I also wanted to say that in our public service announcement today, we mentioned a couple of optimistic developments. We know there's going to be some changing in the testing strategy available to us in the near future. We think that will help immensely for getting more tests out and identifying people who really need to know. For the most part, most people in the county do not need to know about this virus. The young folks who get this are mostly going to do very well. They'll feel like a cold or a flu, and when they're recovered, life goes on. We may be able to test them after the fact to prove that they had the virus. We'd like to do that because we want to find out how much immunity we're actually building up in the community over time. But for now, most people don't need a test. In a few weeks, when we have better testing, we might be changing that message. So I just want to leave people to think about that right now. Don't be requesting a test for a cold or a flu that we can't get for you in an easy way. And the second thing that's on the horizon that I think is important to think about is that there is some evidence starting to grow that some of these drugs that people have been trying elsewhere in the world might actually have a good effect. And I suspect by the end of this week or the end of next week, we'll have some proof one way or another. And I think that's an encouraging thought. So with that, I will turn it over to Jay Sarina.
Hi, I'm Jay Sarina, Delaware County Administrative Officer, and I'm going to give a short update in regards to the County Office of Emergency Services, as well as the county operations and what changes you might be seeing coming down the road. Currently, the Delaware County Office of Emergency Services is activated at a level 2. This means that certain sections of the Office of Emergency Services are actively planning and preparing for projected issues that may come up, and also with issues that are currently being faced by our community. A couple of different sections that are dealing with economic resiliency is a new branch called an Economic Resiliency Branch. It'll be up and running with a website very soon. There are a number of partners that will be able to direct local businesses and individuals to assets and assistance that may be able to help them almost immediately. There is also the hope that the funding that Chairman Hemington was talking about will be coming down, and the assistance for those businesses and how to navigate that will be part of this branch. City Manager Eric Weir will give additional information and details. The operation area is also dealing with distribution of food to our food pantries and food bank services, dealing with a number of non-governmental organizations as well as nonprofits. That is for our most vulnerable population and has been underway now for approximately a week and a half. We are receiving resource requests through our local agencies and partners in regards to typically protective equipment for our first responders, and we have received 2 of those from the state of California and expect a third. While we're not getting everything that we've requested, we are getting equipment. The COVID-19 crisis has had a significant effect on everyone's lives, and there's a lot of information and misinformation out there on the web and social media. And I would hope that if you have any questions related to COVID-19, please visit the Del Norte County Health and Human Services Public Health website for all of the information that they can provide. Dr. Ray Walt has public service announcements. There's information almost to the minute in regards to the number of tests that have been done in Del Norte County, how many are negative and how many are still pending. We have still not had a positive test in Del Norte County. In addition, I would like to thank those in our community that have stepped up to this challenging time and are following the directions for social distancing, practicing good hygiene, and limiting their time in public areas. It's up to all of us to do our part and be part of the solution and keep ourselves, our families, and others safe. Look in on elderly neighbors, make sure that they're adequately stocked with whatever their needs are, medicine, food, and just help out your neighbors. And I'm going to turn it over now to Mr. Weir.
All right. Thank you, Jay. My name is Eric Weir. I'm city manager for the city of Crescent City. We'll be practicing good hygiene and whatnot as this is one of those Lysol sanitary wipes that we should all be using and we should all be cognizant of at all times. With the city, we are definitely focused in on our first responders and keeping our community safe. The city is responsible for the majority of the water and sewer systems within our community. And as such, we take our response to those and making sure that those are fully operational as one of our highest responsibilities. In regard to the water system, what we have done is we have split our public works crew up into 2 teams. We have an A team and we have a B team. These teams are separated so that if there is some sort of a sickness that does come through, we will have another team that will be able to respond and make sure that the community has a water system that is fully capable of not only providing the normal needs, but also in this time, providing the needs so people can remain sanitary in all their conditions. In regard to the sewer system, which is why, primary reason why I brought one of these wipes, is a lot of people are using these now, and they should. They're a vital tool against what we're facing. But what we should not do is we should not flush them down the toilet, as they don't work well when they get into the sewer pipes, and in fact they cause clogs, which we then have to respond to, or it creates another environmental situation with a sewer spill. So please use these, but use them responsibly, and just throw them away. Another thing that you will see around our community during this time is that we unfortunately have had to close the playgrounds. The playgrounds are an area that people congregate, and it's really hard to have social distancing when you're using those. So you'll notice that the playgrounds around our community have now been closed. In regard to the parks, we do want people to enjoy the parks, although enjoy them while practicing the social distancing. As such, we are keeping the public bathrooms open. The public bathrooms will be cleaned now twice a day. They will be cleaned by city crews that are operating during the daytime hours, and then a cleaning crew that are operating during the evening hours. So you will find that. City operations have also been affected by this, as we have closed the offices to the public. Again, this is to protect our employees as well as the general public from utilizing those commonly used countertops. City offices are still open though. So please go to the city website, find the appropriate phone number to call, and we have also implemented several different methods to try to allow the public to conduct their regular business via using technology, which could be sending emails to people, emailing documents back and forth so you can still obtain your building permits that you need to obtain. You can still pay your water and sewer bills. Either there's a phone line that you can call to pay via credit card, or you can sign up for online bill pay, or even just simply dropping by the office and dropping your payment off in the drop box. It would be an efficient way of accommodating that. In regard to the economic resiliency branch that Mr. Sarina spoke about, I'm going to pop a slide up on the screen. It's going to give you the basic information that you will need in regard to the website that you can go to. So we've set up what's called a Listserv, and this is basically a subscription that you sign up to, and what it will give you is it will give you updates in regard to whatever is going on. So you see it there on the screen. It's biz-subscribe at list.crescentcity.org. You can find that on the city's website. And what this will do is this will create this environment where businesses can be kept up to date on what is currently available to them. The businesses in our community, over 900 businesses, will also be contacted during this next week. They'll be contacted by employees of the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Crescent City, or the county, who are all working uniformly in this to try to reach out to our businesses, as we know they are going through a time that none of us have ever faced before. And we are truly all in this together to try to get through this, and we will get through it. During those phone calls, we'll be looking for information as to what the economic injury is to that particular business. This will then help us understand what this disaster truly is. We can get that information to the state. It'll also help us better understand the layoffs that are occurring and any information that either the business owner needs or the employees need as they're going through this time. So those are some of the big things that we're trying to implement as we go through this. You can see this is not going to be an easy time, and there are going to be a lot of developments that just occur over time that we don't even know about yet. So the website that you will eventually go to is Prepare Del Norte website. That's currently in development now, but sign up for this Listserv so you can get the information that you need. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Jeff Harris, the Superintendent of Schools.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Eric. You know, I want to just start off by saying how much I appreciate the resiliency of our families and our community. I have to tell you, in the past couple of weeks, I don't think I've ever used the words unique, unprecedented, extraordinary as much as I have in discussing what's currently going on. I read an article today that said this is the first time probably since World War II that our nation is mobilized around something like this. And so I just want everybody to kind of put in context where we are. 2 weeks ago, to the day, 2 weeks ago on Monday, I was sitting in Governor Newsom's office and he said, guys, don't worry about it. We're not going to close schools. 1 week later, we had closed schools. Another weekend, we're under stay-at-home orders. So I just want to remind folks that as we all talk, as members of our community are up here today, we've had a very short time to respond to a quickly mounting crisis. And in the last 6 days, I just want to give you one piece of what has happened that we're extremely proud of. For those of you who know our nutrition services departments and our transportation department, they have banded together along with volunteers from our staff, with teachers, with volunteer classified employees, with folks from the community. And in the last 6 days, they have delivered over 19,300 meals to youth between the ages of birth and 18 in our community. They've also put together actually all of our staff combined has put together over 15,000 pages of work for our students. We are committed to moving forward in a way that helps our students learn, that supports our families, and then ultimately, as we come out the other side of this, that we can look and be proud of the progress that we've made, and we can look to our families, look to our partners in all of this, because I have to tell you, we have some of the best teachers, we have some of the best classified employees, we have some of the best administrators in the state, and we've got some incredible families, some incredible supports that you've heard from today and will continue to hear from. I just kind of want to share with you where we are going in the next few weeks. So this week, what we're putting together, last week, those of you who saw the packets come home, there'll be more packets that come out tomorrow. So they'll be on the buses, they'll be with our food services, and they'll also be on the school campuses. You'll be able to pick those up. However, our staff is learning more about distance learning. So this week, you're going to see them engage in online professional development, online learning communities. Next week, we'll see a packet of work, plus we'll see some kind of this blended online versus paper pencil thing that goes on. The following week, we really hope to have together a plan for disseminating Chromebooks, to get computers out to families so that students can access online learning platforms. We should have fully online learning lesson plans available within 2 to 3 weeks, and then you and your children will have an opportunity of either taking a hard copy, a blended copy, or a fully online program. In addition, we're also looking at how we're continuing to provide special education support. So I know that our staff, like I said, they're phenomenal. They've already been reaching out to families. They've already been checking in with their students. They've already been looking at how we can go ahead and continue to make forward progress for a lot of our youth. As we talk about critical counseling needs, our counselors will reach out. So we're not stopping those services, but just know that we really appreciate your patience as we continue to understand what that's going to look like. Our tech department is also, like I said, preparing those devices for checkout, but they're also putting together some of the online infrastructure necessary for us to get digital learning to happen. They're putting together the new version of our board meeting. Our board meeting for the first time this Thursday will be fully online. Our maintenance and custodial staff, if you're not aware, they have been deep cleaning and they have been sanitizing classrooms. So they've been going through and disinfecting every classroom in the district. They will continue to do so. However, kind of counterintuitively with schools being closed, through the county office, which is the other part of me, both the district and the county office, under the county office, we will be opening child care centers for our first responders, healthcare workers, and essential services employees that have to report to the school site or have to report to their work sites. So we'll be coming out with that, hopefully by the end of this week, a registration form, and then we'll be able to kick that off next Monday. We were hoping this Wednesday, but as I said, we appreciate your patience as you bear with us because we're in a very rapidly changing world. And lastly, actually, there's two other things. So probably this Wednesday, we're also going to start a series of webinars where we're inviting local, different aspects of our community to come in. We are going to be having some teachers, some administrators, some different parts of our school community come in and share information with you. So whether that is what's going on educationally, how can we help, what's going on really with the COVID in our community, or whatever it happens to be, we want to help facilitate those kinds of learning opportunities for everyone in our community to, I think, kind of negate the rumor mill and really promote a thoughtful process and understanding of where we are. And we're also going to, by the same token, be looking at having a question and answer session at least once a week where folks can engage with us directly through media, through video, and we can answer questions that people have. So our goal is to help you as much as we possibly can, because your goal has really always been to help us. And in the grand scheme of things, we're all here to help our kids. So we do appreciate it, and we look forward to working with everybody in the next few weeks. And just for those folks that are out there that are wondering right now, because high school graduation has been a big thing, I just got off the phone this afternoon with the state superintendent of schools and other county superintendents. And right now, I can tell you that we are not looking at extending the school year. So those who are looking at going to college, going into the military, you don't have to worry about that. The second piece is we are looking at potentially waiving some graduation credits, so we don't have to worry about that. But those students that we do have some that are trying to catch up on credits and make those credits up. We will not stop that process. We want you to continue to move forward, because our goal is that every child that goes through our school system graduates and they meet our district and our state requirements for that graduation, and we want you to go on and be successful. So with that, I really do appreciate our community. I appreciate the resiliency. I appreciate everybody we've had to work with, and don't hesitate to email or call if you have questions. And I will turn it over to Sheriff Apperson.
Good afternoon, Delaware County communities. I am Sheriff Apperson. I've been asked to speak here today a little bit about the law enforcement component. So I'm going to start off with talking about some of the steps we've taken at the Sheriff's Office as a response. We've provided personal protection equipment to all of our staff and most of our volunteers. We are screening staff with several specific health-related questions prior to their shifts. We've isolated our communications team as they provide an integral service to public safety within Delaware County, and they're also the people that are answering our 911 and non-emergency calls. It's really important that we keep them healthy. Those dispatchers are also asking screening questions related to the current pandemic, but I want to be clear when I say that we're still responding. We've gotten some feedback on that, and we're simply asking those questions so we can better prepare our first responders for that response. But if you call, we're going to be there. We're taking extra steps to sanitize our lobby, which currently remains open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We recognize that this community expects the lobby to remain open, and we are certainly motivated to meet that expectation. We have limited our inmate movement within the correctional facility and suspended non-essential services. Our current jail population, which is a topic of discussion often, is well below capacity. So we have room to house additional prisoners if need be. We've sterilized an entire pod within our jail that functions on a separate air system and is a negative pressure tank. It is currently being kept unoccupied if we need to utilize that. We are in regular contact with Pelican Bay in regards to concerns for prisoners and staffing to meet the needs of those prisoners. We have also had outstanding collaboration with our local law enforcement partners. We've stocked up on some necessary equipment we'll need to do our jobs in case supplies are slowed down in the future. And although all positions in our organization are essential to our day-to-day operations, we do have some people, thanks to county IT, that are able to serve their role from home. I know that there has been a couple points of interest in regards to law enforcement, and the way that people are reacting during this challenge for our community. One of the frequent questions that I tend to receive is, how are we going to stop people from congregating? And I want you to know that we hear your complaints. We're concerned too. Our approach now is through education. I mentioned collaboration earlier. I think Humboldt County is exploring an interesting model as a response to this. I'm in regular contact with Sheriff Hansel, and I'm learning how that process is working out. But at this point, we're going to continue, also like Humboldt, to take an educational approach. We're going to encourage people to do the right thing. And I think it needs to be noted that generally speaking, people are doing the right thing. We need to remember how many people are in this community and the fact that most people are compliant, and some people are taking some hard hits to be compliant. I also received some complaints regarding beaches, specific to folks showing up from out of the area and frequenting our beaches like a vacation, as opposed to the stay-at-home order or shelter-in-place. I need people to understand that at this point, there isn't an enforcement mechanism for me to prevent people from visiting our community. We are exploring possibilities to mitigate that and make our community safer. But right now, what we need to do is continue to educate, continue to help each other out, continue to contact law enforcement. Just because you call us doesn't mean we have to make an arrest. It doesn't mean we have to cite somebody. We are you, you are us, and we are all in this together. And a closing thought, I just want to echo something that Dr. Ray Walt mentioned, and that is, people tend to drive better when they think law enforcement's driving behind them. And I think we need to take the same approach to try to slow the spread of this virus down. When we interact with people, we need to assume that they're sick also, and we need to limit that interaction. I think it's a good point to remember. Other than that, our phones are still on, we're still coming, our lobby's still open, and I appreciate everybody taking a collaborative, community-oriented approach. With that, I will invite Chief Griffin to the microphone.
Hello, I'm Richard Griffin, the Chief of Police for Crescent City. The biggest thing I want to do is come up here and say that we are definitely in the same area as Sheriff Apperson in all these opinions. We've been in constant communication when needed through this. We are all working together to get through this. We will get through this together. We've taken the same approach as far as protecting our employees, because our vital importance to the community. We want to make sure that they're safe as well in the measures we're taking. We're providing personal protection equipment also. We have not changed anything we do as far as responding to calls, taking calls for service. If you need to get property back, call in, we'll schedule that. We're still responding to everything. So I just want to echo his sentiment, and I just request we take some common sense and a little bit of time that we can all make a difference if we just do our part in this and take a little bit of time to relax and enjoy our family and catch up on some yard work out there so we can make this virus kind of slow down a little bit and basically just do the right thing at that point.
I want to thank all of our leaders for taking the time to come and to speak to our community. And I know that some of you are able to watch this live, and others will be watching this maybe later today. The most important thing is that you heed the encouragement that has been given to you by Dr. Ray Walt, our public health officer, and that you use those precautions, and that you use good judgment, that you use good hygiene. If you don't need to go someplace, then don't. And I think that it really, one of the things that stuck with me that he said is we should just operate as if we are sick and everybody else is sick, and we know that when we're sick, we need to stay home and get well. And so I hope that you have found that the information we've provided today has been helpful. I made a commitment to you last Friday that we would be here regularly to try to give you updates. And with that in mind, I want to make sure that you know the website that was spoken of earlier, where you can get the most recent updates. That would include any press releases from the public health officer, as well as anything that would link towards the Office of Emergency Services. And so I'm going to put up on the screen, first of all, for local information, go to the Delaware County website, and then under departments, Health and Human Services, and Public Health. It's very easy to navigate. If you go to the county's website, you'll be able to find it, but you want to make note of this. That's where you can read the most recent press release that Dr. Ray Walt released today, and you want to read that entire thing so you know exactly where we stand. You'll also give the updates on the current testing that has been given. I had 35 tests as of today, and 26 of those have come back negative, and there's 9 that are still pending. And we will continue to test as appropriate. As Dr. Ray Walt mentioned, don't assume that you just need a test because you want one. That's simply not going to be available, and we need to make sure we're using these tests for the best possible benefit of our community as a whole. The other slide that I'm going to put up is the state's basic information page. This is the place to go. It's covid19.ca.gov. That will give you the most recent updates, news releases from the state, from the governor's office. It will also provide you some very basic information about the virus, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Some examples of what the symptoms might be so that you are aware of what that might be. And with that said, I want to make sure that you realize the importance that if you do feel like you have symptoms, you need to call your healthcare professional. Sutter Health has set up a hotline, and you can call and get some advice or call your personal physician or healthcare provider. The most important thing is for us to remember that we are working in this together. We are committed as leaders to provide you timely updates and give you the very best information. We encourage you to keep up the good work. I believe that this community has done a phenomenal job of adhering to the requests that have been made. I am also aware that businesses here in our community are taking a big hit right now. And so we need to look for ways to support one another in that, and do encourage you to sign up on that listserv so that you as a local business have the best resources into the recovery that we hope to be able to facilitate both from the federal and the state. So with that, we're going to close today. We will be back when we have an update to give to you. Do not hesitate to reach out to us. Reach out through the county and city websites. Email us. You can email me directly at bnscore@crescentcity.org, and I will answer if I can. Most likely, I will forward your question to the appropriate person who can give you the best answer. But we're here for you, and we as a community are going to be able to work through this whole process together. And my encouragement to you is stay healthy, stay safe, make good decisions, help your neighbors, and one of the best help you can be is stay home when you can. We'll talk to you soon.